We begin in Lame Deer this morning, where a grass fire is now contained and highways are open again after 1,700 acres of land burned, threatening homes. The fire was first reported Sunday morning, and the fire management officer hasn't released an official cause. U.S. Highway 212 and Montana Highway 39 were temporarily closed, but reopened by 7:30 last night. The fire threatened homes, an elder care center, and the Indian Health Service clinic. The two facilities were ordered to evacuate due to smoke concerns, and homes along Highway 39 were also preparing to evacuate, but crews contained the edge of the fire before an evacuation took place. BIA Fire Management Officer Adam Wolf says they were gaining control of the fire, but then the wind picked up.
The winds hit, this front hit, and it pushed it over several hills, and it got down into the Lame Deer Creek drainage, and it just actually literally burnt into town. It's uncommon to have a fire like this in April.
BIA Fire responded to a total of 3 fires on Sunday. 3 dozers and a road grader were assigned to the fire overnight to build a line around the burn. Now for a look at what's making national headlines this morning. Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen resigned on Sunday. President Trump announced via tweet that U.S. Customs and Border Protection Commissioner would take over as acting head. It's unclear if Nielsen was forced out or if it was her own decision. A California woman who was abducted on a safari in a national park in Uganda has been rescued, along with her driver, in the bordering Democratic Republic of Congo. CBS's Laura Podesta has the latest.
Ugandan authorities released an American tourist and her driver on Sunday, 5 days after they were kidnapped on safari in a national park. A photo shows Kimberly Sue Endicott after she was brought to safety unharmed. Security forces found Endicott and her driver, Jean-Paul Marenge Remezo, across the border in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The nightmare began Tuesday when 4 gunmen ambushed their vehicle in the more than 700 square mile Queen Elizabeth National Park. Hundreds of thousands of tourists visit Uganda's 10 national parks each year.
This is the first abduction we've had of a tourist in Uganda over the last 30 years.
The U.S. Embassy in Kampala is advising Americans to exercise caution. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
And sources confirmed to CBS News the 4 kidnappers had demanded a $500,000 ransom, and at least some of that amount was paid to secure their release. It does not appear, though, that the money was given by the U.S. government, which has a policy against paying kidnappers. Also in this morning's headlines, a nail-biter in the championship game of the women's NCAA basketball tournament. Notre Dame fell to Baylor 82-81. The win came despite the loss of Baylor star forward Lauren Cox in the 3rd quarter. This is the school's first championship in 7 years. Meanwhile, the men's championship will take place tonight in Minneapolis. The University of Virginia will play Texas Tech. The game starts at 7:20, and you can catch it right here on Q2. A Columbus man has been identified as the person who died in a head-on crash with a Park County Sheriff's deputy. Authorities say the driver was 53-year-old Sean Schmitz. The crash happened late Friday night on Highway 89 South, just south of Livingston. An investigation by the Montana Highway Patrol reveals the car driven by Schmitz left its lane and collided with the deputy. They're still trying to figure out why the car left its lane. The deputy involved, Brian Elliott Pearson, was flown by air ambulance to Billings. He has undergone 2 successful surgeries and is in stable condition. In case you missed it over the weekend, Billings police are still looking for a suspect who shot and killed a man and injured another at a local bar. The shooting happened at Lee's Saloon on Saturday just before 2 a.m. A 24-year-old man died at the hospital, and a 28-year-old man was also taken to the hospital for injuries. Another 24-year-old man was injured but refused treatment. The Billings Police Department is asking anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers at 245-6660. Callers can remain anonymous. Well, there's just 1 week left for people to file their income tax returns. MTN's Jonathan Mbarian shows us how the state is gearing up for the last days of tax season and what last-minute help is available for those who still haven't filed.
The first weeks of April are among the busiest times of year at the Montana Department of Revenue's processing facility in downtown Helena.
Yes, the Department of Revenue is hard at work processing tax returns, sending out refunds. We're sending out thousands and thousands of refunds every day.
The department hires about 80 temporary staff to assist during tax season. They've already received more than 300,000 returns this year and sent out 226,000 refunds. Though 90% of returns are now filed electronically, there are still plenty of physical returns to process.
It's better for speed, security, for people to file electronically, but as you saw, there's still a whole lot of mail returns coming in, and we're opening them, scanning them, keying in the data as we speak.
The department also knows many Montanans still have to file over the next week.
There's still time, and there is still help available, free or at low cost to a lot of people around the state.
In Helena, United Way of the Lewis and Clark area is part of a free tax help coalition. Several organizations will offer walk-in tax help clinics over the last week of tax season. The United Way also partners with H&R Block on a free online filing tool for people who are eligible.
We do a lot of direction to help folks make sure that they're getting where they need to be in order to take advantage of those opportunities.
The Department of Revenue also supports a site listing free tax help options, but leaders say you shouldn't wait too long to access them.
But we really recommend you don't wait to the last minute. The help that's available will be harder and harder to find on that last day.
In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
Well, before we take a break, we're following up on the recovery of the man who fell 40 feet off the Billings rims late last month while chasing after his dog. Tom Paxnos is well known in the community for his volunteer work, and now the community is coming together to give back to him. Q2's Jenny Fick has his story.
Our good friend Tom took a little tumble last week, 40 feet, and has a traumatic brain injury.
Zeus is the boy that Tom went over the cliffs to follow here.
Tom is still in the hospital, taking it day by day.
No news is good news at this point, so we just really want him to stay peacefully resting like he is, and he's so comfortable right now, so we're just going to let him wake up in his own due time.
So even if Tom checks out of the hospital today with a clean bill of health, that's when a long road to recovery will happen. And so, you know, there's a lot of unknowns.
He's so loved and has such a community of people that we've come together to do what we can to help him while he heals.
And it seems that everyone wants to help.
The number of people that he has touched through his different jobs and involvements in the community, people feel ownership of him, like he's our Tom. Everybody feels like he's their Tom because he's just one of those people that is so engaged with everybody he meets, and he makes them feel so special.
The community being coined as Tom's Village has rallied around him with comedy shows, benefits, and raffles popping up left and right.
He'd be doing the best for us, so we're obviously doing the best for him. So all these donations and everything will cover the unknowns and the uncertainties of what's going to happen.
Even those who have never met him, stepping up to offer what they can.
He fills the room. His energy and his light fills the room when he comes in. You fall in love with him on sight.
Being a part of projectile comedy, laughter is a huge part of Tom's life.
He would be so mad at us if he thought we were sitting around crying, not doing anything. He would be so mad. You know, we make inappropriate jokes, and none of it is going to be highbrow comedy by any means. Chaz Llewellyn said it best. He said, I want him to wake up, and when he sees everything that has happened and the photos and the comedy and all of it, he'll say, nice.
In the meantime, his village has got his back.
Get ready for a party.
Century 21, he's built a name for himself. He's got a great base of clients that trust him. My son and his fiance actually bought a house with Tom's help. They developed such a bond during the process that my kids have actually asked him to be their officiant at their wedding this summer. And we're bound and determined to make sure that he makes that happen. My kids won't have it any other way. So that just that speaks to the fact that you fall in love with Tom the first time you meet him. And there's no getting out of it. He's in your life forever.
In Billings, Jenny Fick, MTN News.
For a full list of opportunities to help and fundraiser dates, you can visit ktvq.com.